Controversy is brewing on Capitol Hill after President Biden and congressional leaders reached a deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security and some other key agencies ahead of a Friday night deadline. But the Hill reports the plan risks blowback from all sides, particularly over proposed changes in response to the migrant crisis. Joining us now is Virginia Republican Congressman Bob Good, chairman of the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, it's good to have you once again, sir. Thanks.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
Take us, if you could, just inside this funding deal, and particularly the details around the major, sticking point for Republicans, which has been funding for DHS and the border.
Well, the story that you've just been covering this morning, which is a critically important story, the number one story, I think, for the country is the border invasion. And the bottom line is we should not be continuing to fund the administration that's perpetrating this invasion. It's really telling what lengths the Biden administration will go to keep the border open, the lengths they will go to fight legally and otherwise Texas's efforts to keep their citizens safe. Texas, who lives on the front lines and is being overrun by the border invasion. And the Biden administration is suing them, challenging them, fighting them from being able to keep their citizens safe. And this comes after just a couple of days ago, I'm sure that you saw it, but a Lebanese illegal was arrested who had worked for 7 years with Hezbollah. And he said that his intention was to go to New York City and make a bomb. How many others like him are part of the 2 million gotaways that we know about over the last 3 years? It's unbelievable how much harm the president is doing intentionally to the United States with the border invasion. And why would we continue to fund that? I think that is the main point of this funding package and why Republicans should not support it.
Yeah, and you brought me to my next point. You have urged other fellow Republicans, not to back this funding package unless it contains all the strict and meaningful border measures that you want included. What would you give the green light to, sir?
Well, it's the spending levels that are some $60 billion higher than what was signed into law a year ago, the Fiscal Responsibility Act that passed the House and the Senate and the White House signed it. This goes above that, some $60 billion. So the spending is being increased instead of decreased. That's a number one problem. It's going to have thousands of earmarks, which are used to buy bad votes and reward members of Congress for voting for bad spending bills like this. And then, frankly, it's surrendering to the Senate in terms of we're not expecting it. We'll get final text today, so we don't have it yet, so we can only speculate on the reports and what we expect to happen based on what happened with the first half of the minibus. But we don't expect there to be a reversal of the policies that are the climate extremism, the war on American energy. We don't expect there to be policies that reverse the DEI and CRT emphasis of this administration, or the LGBTQ funding or transgender surgery, things like that, abortion travel funding in our military. We don't expect to have policy wins, and spending levels are going to be higher. And again, we're funding the very border invasion that we campaign against, that we talk against, and that's really destroying the country and harming the American people.
And you and I can talk about all the finite details, within this deal that y'all are about to hammer out here in the coming days. But I think a lot of people at home watching this saying, OK, what does this mean for me? I mean, if there is a government shutdown, this would mean paychecks held up for U.S. military families. TSA workers would be working without pay, which impacts, thousands, if not millions of travelers. Do you see that kind of temporary disruption to American lives worth it in exchange for these safer borders that you're fighting for?
Well, a government shutdown, while not ideal, 85% of the government's on autopilot, and it continues. There's only 15% of what's considered non-essential that has a temporary pause while the budget details are worked out. But worse than shutting down the government temporarily is further exacerbating the problems that are causing so much harm for the American people. The American people are suffering under the policies that are in place right now from the previous Congress. With all these continuing resolutions, all we've done is kick the can down the road and kept in place the policies that the American people rejected in November of 22 when they gave Republicans full control of the House of Representatives. And then there was the omnibus that was passed in December, 1 month later, for $1.6 trillion that caused massive inflation. The American people are suffering, paying about $1,000 a month more than they were when this president got into office 3 years ago for just the essentials, for groceries, for housing, for utilities, for gasoline and those sorts of things. And so they're suffering. And here we are making the spending even worse by increasing it. And again, not even changing the policies in accordance with how we ran to change them when the American people entrusted us with the majority.
And we had that Gallup poll just a few weeks ago that said immigration is now the top concern for the majority of American voters. So I know a lot of people watching this closely and what comes to fruition in the coming days. Congressman Bob Good, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.